As always, we appreciate the click. Randy Moss with Jerry Bailey to give you a blow-by-blow description of exactly what happened in the final major prep race for the Kentucky Derby, the $1 million Arkansas Derby. We thought we had it figured out, and the race kind of developed the way we thought. First of all, watch post position number 2, Caddo River. 5 is your 1-5 favorite, Concert Tour, and as we let it roll, we expected Caddo River to go to the early lead. He didn't break all that sharply with Giroux, maybe got off to a little bit of a stumbling start, but as we thought would happen, he was hustled to the lead, and Joel Rosario, Jerry, knew that was going to happen as well.
Yeah, that was pretty predictable, and Joel Rosario, opposite of what he did in the Rebel, just was real careful with Concert Tour early in the race, real quiet, expecting Caddo River to be on the lead. Didn't want to get into a head-and-head match with him, and he didn't, and it was perfect. Neither horse has an excuse here. The pace is moderate. I think it's called honest. Concert Tour is exactly where he wants to be. Joel Rosario had to be happy right here. Florent Giroux on the leader. Caddo River had to be happy. And basically, every horse in the race got the trip that I think they wanted. And
they're lined up behind the top 2, including the number 1 horse on the rail right there, Superstock and Ricardo Santana. In the middle, that's Hosier, the other Bob Baffert trainee. But you can see, look, Caddo River's on the lead. The pace is fairly quick. The track's not real fast at Oaklawn on this day. They went 22 3/5 for the first quarter, 46 1/2 or so for the half mile. They went 6 furlongs and 111 and change. Right here, it looks like, you would think, the 1-5 favorite is going to just cruise right up to Caddo River, and he kind of has the race under control. But look at Superstock now, gradually closing in on the top 2 as they get to the top of the stretch. And right now, Jerry, we smelled an upset right here.
Well, look at, even Concert Tour looked pretty good right here, but I thought he would be, at this point, drawing away from Caddo River, and he didn't. He just kind of hung there. And look at Superstock. He improved 3 to 4 lengths, I think, but Concert Tour, he just didn't run as well. I think he regressed 3 or 4 lengths himself, and Caddo River, he hung in there well. It came back to be second.
So Superstock in a gigantic upset, 12-1. With Santana, trained by Steve Asmussen, the Hall of Famer, who's never won the Kentucky Derby, by the way, 0 for 21. It's his 5th Arkansas Derby win, but the co-owner is his father, Keith Asmussen, and his son, Keith Jr., actually rode this horse to Keith's only stakes win so far. So it's a great family story that will continue to play out when we get to Louisville on the first Saturday in May. Now let's talk Kentucky Derby, okay? You and I both agree on this, as we often do, who the 3 likely betting favorites are going to be. It looks like right now the favorite is going to be the undefeated Essential Quality.
I would agree with that. I mean, you know what to expect from Essential Quality. He's undefeated. He runs the same race every time. You see him getting off the van there at Churchill Downs. He's won over Churchill Downs. He broke his maiden. And he's versatile. He can be closer on a slow pace, further back on a fast pace. So he's got no discernible weakness. He's never given you that wow factor. I mean, the biggest margin of victory is 4 lengths, but he comes every time with his race, and you can count on him.
And if you had to say right now, okay, the likely pace setter in the Kentucky Derby, who might that be? I think the logical answer would be Rock Your World, who shortly after Essential Quality won the Bluegrass Stakes, sped to a wire-to-wire victory in the Santa Anita Derby. Look at him there. He likes the camera, too. He's charismatic. He beat Medina Spirit and Dream Shake pretty convincingly. He actually got a better speed figure than Essential Quality did winning the Bluegrass, and that was the first time he had ever run on dirt. His 2 previous races, including a stakes win, had been on grass.
But a huge question mark with Rock Your World. Never had a speck of dirt thrown in his face, and although he wired the field at Santa Anita, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be able to do that at Churchill Downs. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. And if we've all seen bad breaks at Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Derby. If he gets away cleanly and has a pretty sanitary, what I call, trip, then yeah, I think he's going to run similar to what he did at Santa Anita in the Santa Anita Derby. But that's no guarantee in the Kentucky Derby, Randy.
Of course not. You always need luck, and they're hoping, of course, he can make his own luck with the clean break out of the starting gate. And then there's the uber-consistent Hot Rod Charlie, who ran well in the Lewis, defeated by Medina Spirit, and then came back to win pretty convincingly, although he did get a good trip in the Louisiana Derby.
Yeah, he is the horse on the improve, in my opinion. I mean, and listen, it takes a horse that's peaking going into the Kentucky Derby to win, in my opinion. Second to Essential Quality last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. A solid third, only beaten a head or a neck in the Robert B. Lewis. And then he comes back and wins the Louisiana Derby. Now, he did have an easy lead that day, but he doesn't need the lead. He typically comes from a little further back. So he, like Essential Quality, is a little bit versatile. He can win either way. I think he's got a lot of tools to work with. I think even though he hasn't run as fast as some of the others, I think he's getting there.
And he's trained by Doug O'Neill, who's won 2 Kentucky Derbies in the past with I'll Have Another and the Nyquist. So O'Neill knows what it takes to get it done. Now, those are just the 3 horses that we think are likely to be the favorites. If there's one thing we have seen all winter and spring, it's that the favorites don't always win these races, right? And so who knows what might happen in the Kentucky Derby. But one thing we do know, hopefully, it's knock on wood somewhere, Jerry and I will be there, right? We'll have the coverage of the Kentucky Oaks on Friday and the undercard races on Friday, and then the undercard in the Kentucky Derby on Saturday on NBC. And that's when you will see us next. So be sure and join us at Churchill Downs for that first weekend in May.